guys, we're just in a Jeep Wrangler JL today, so this will be anything 2018 plus. A few different models. You obviously got your sports. I think there's a Sports Unlimited, a Sahara, a Rubicon. They're all the same. The kit's going to fit them all, even although it might look a little bit different on the top. Your dash is still going to be the same. You're still going to have your AC vents here and some control panel down here. The only difference is this Sahara version has a few different things in the control panel, and a bit more AC stuff, and it's got some volume and tune controls down here. Whereabouts some of the sports model have them up here. This model does, I believe, have USB CarPlay. Some of them do. Otherwise, some of them don't have it at all. So that's a good reason to upgrade. We've obviously got a reverse camera with trajectory lines on it, and we've got our steering wheel controls behind here, so we'll keep all the factory options still working with our kit. There's two different models. There's majority of the systems will have just a standard 8 speaker sound system, and then some of them have the Alpine 9 speaker sound system that has a sub in the rear. Our kits will work with both, so that's okay, but just so you have a few different options there. Now the install process is fairly easy. This panel here has to come off, and then there's a few screws, and then this top bit comes off. So here, just get your trim removal tool that's included in the kit. Just get into the side here, find somewhere nice where it's going to fit in. So I actually found this to be on quite tight. So again, I've just got the trim tools in here. Lever. These are in the kit. Starting from this side seems to be a bit easier for me. So I just got the trim tools up under here. Lever. Just keep working it. They're going to pop out eventually, and then you can pull out the whole thing with your hands really. Now what I found was there's a really tight one. There's a blue one on this far side that's super tight, which I don't want to break off. So just leave her in there, and if you get off this far, then you could probably get a flathead screwdriver in it and just also work out this end one that's under here. So I don't know if I just got unlucky here or whatnot, but this one was pretty tight, so I ended up actually having to use a trim tool to kind of push it down, and then lever one from the side. So I had a trim tool come in the top here, so a big enough gap, and I sort of pushed it down. Then I levered it out. You can actually leave all these connected if you want. It's all good. Now you just got a couple screws here, like Phillips head. They're going to come off here to pull off this whole part. Now again, no matter what sort of variation you have, all this sort of process is going to be the same. Then once those two are out, there's some clips in the top of this piece here. So again, if you can get your trim tool in the side there, and just help yourself lever the top bit out a little bit. It'll just help you pop out those, and then that pops out. Just add a couple of clips in the top and the side here. Then once that's out, obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this whole unit will pull out. These are the same length as the first two you took out, so just like that. And then on the back here, it's got a couple plugs. They're all ones you got to push down tabs on the top, and then you've got one here that'll be a little bit different. That says a push down there, and then this little buckle slides backwards, and then it's a couple more on the bottom here. 1 and 2. Again, they're all ones we just have to push down a button to remove them, and that's the old unit out. Just cover what you get in the kit here. So obviously you get our main deck with this sort of fascia built in. This might change for a slim back one in the future, we'll see, but it'll be the same anyway. But anyway, our main 20-pin plug, auxiliary plugs, GPS, 4G, FM, AM antenna, and you get our plug-in player conversion kit with our CAN bus box. So that means you can just plug that in. External microphone, if you use this or not, it depends. A 4G antenna, because obviously this unit can have its own SIM card. A GPS antenna, which means you can run, this is a sat nav with offline maps and whatnot. Beer cooler, USB drive for updates. This is our manual in here. Auxiliary in, majority of people won't use this, but it can give you a third camera input if you wanted a third camera coming in. Got a third USB. Handy if you're going to use our dash cam or one of our other accessories. Our dual USB and external mic port. Again, these all go in the auxiliary plugs. We will keep the factory USB working, and if you use the external mic or not, it's up to you. Show you how to test that. Our radio adapter cable, our camera input cable. So our factory reverse camera will go into our purple wire here. You can use the second camera if you want to run a second camera on these cars. If they're set up for off-road roading or whatnot, it's can be quite handy to have the front camera pointing directly down so you can see things when you're on the rocks and whatnot. A SIM card, obviously if you want to give this internet, you don't have to. Pre-outs if you want to run an aftermarket amplifier. Factory USB retention cable, and this here is just for some camera retention. So you might need this or you might not. Majority of the time, probably not. So that's everything that's in the kit there, and your trim removal tools. So say there should be an OBD2 scan tool, and there's an OBD2 scan tool, and our Bluetooth Wi-Fi antenna, which you can just throw this in straight away because that is like sort of needed, and you don't use the pre-out one. You'd only use this pre-out one if you're running an aftermarket amplifier, but it goes in the same plug. So the next step we want to do is we want to see if something's going to happen when we plug this all in. So this here should line up, and you'll be able to plug it in like so. Some of the cam lock there, so you've got to kind of have it up and then pull it back down. That's going to go into like a main plug there. We want to check that that's going to happen. Our like yellow one here, what we want to do with that is we want to grab out of this one as well and put it on our purple wire, because we just want to check that we have our few things working on the car, and one of them is a reverse camera. Now you've got these other ones. This is like the actual USB port, which we will cover in a second. One of these will be GPS. I can't tell just by reading them. One of them will be radio, and one of them will be FM AM. I would have a guess that this is our FM AM here. Put our adapter cable in there. That might be for the XM radio, and that is probably for the GPS. So once that's all plugged in like that, grab the unit, put this plug into here. It's our camera input. Put the big 20 pin plug into here. Put our FM plug into here, and you can just sit the unit somewhere. And we just want to see if it's going to power up okay. So we got our power, which is good. I've got the boot open, so it's telling me the boot's open. So what we're basically looking for here is like power, like steering wheel controls, like sound, and just to make sure everything's all working before we go too much like further. So I can see it's talking to the car because it's telling me the doors are open.
Well, to me, meat from an animal raised with regenerative.
I can see my steering wheel controls are working.
It's good. And climate activist
and my sound's working. I can hear my speakers going. The radio works FM AM, so that's that and that. Steering wheel controls work. That brings up the Hey Google option. So my microphone, we've got the phone, so that's fine. Now the other thing to obviously check will be our reverse. So if we give this another push, start it up. Now we're getting no signal, but we're getting the trigger. So what we'll just try is touching and holding on here. 4 zeros. Change this to CVS NTSC, but I think our issue will be we have to use the extra box. Yeah, still no signal, so that's okay. Alright, so we have our camera working now. Now I think because this model was the Sahara, that means we have our AHD camera, which you can see we have working now, our 1080p AHD camera. So pushing these buttons with this. So what happens here is we'll work out if you need this or not, and we'll try and make it a bit clear for you in the kits. But basically this like red connector, the red Facia connector here, if you have one of these, it basically means you'll need this box. We'll try and have it clear on our page if you need it or not. These two switches need to be to the right hand side if the sticker's the top. And out the back here we have like an AHD out, which is going into our purple camera in, and then this like a box is powered off our main harness. So we've jumped it in here, but what we'll do is we'll include a little easy patch cable, which will just mean you can plug the box in, and you just have to cut both of these wires here, the pink one and the other grey one, if they aren't already cut, as it is 1080p AHD, and you can see that's the AHD output one here. You also can do CVBS out, but I think if your car has the older camera, it's going to work from here, and you'll either won't have to use this box. But if you do this red connector, we are using this box. So you obviously have to set our head unit as well to 1080p. And what you do by when you go into reverse, you just click and hold, click the settings icon, 4 zeros, and a 1080p AHD is a choice. Now you can see our trajectory lines are working, and there's a little like save clipboard there. You can see we have our trajectory lines working, and that our camera quality looks awesome because our screen is high def and the camera is high def, so it all looks good. So that is everything working now. So that camera box is all sorted. Now just cover where the rest of the cables go. So we've got our 2 USBs and external mic here. Now it's up to you if you want to run the external sort of mic or not. It plugs into here. You can choose where to put it, so it's up to you. Majority of people normally run them above the steering wheel here, or you can put it up into the A pillar here. Just obviously, just I remember the top comes off here, so don't put it anywhere in the way. But I would probably say in this car you're going to be pretty close to the internal mic anyway, so you won't actually need it. But it's up to you, because you can just rest it here and I'll make a call in and with it out, and you can decide. And then obviously one USB, we have our adapter here to keep the original factory USB working. So that one is just this one that looks like a small USB here. It just plugs in like that, and then you plug that into one of our USBs here. Now that's going to keep their like factory port working there, and then the other one I drop down there a gap and like pop it out into the glove box, and it's handy to get to if you like need it. So that's that one. Got our third USB again. I'll like run it into like the glove box, or if you're using our dash camera or one of our like accessories, you can like run it to there. You don't have to use it, but it's always good just to like run it and have it in the glove boxes in case you ever do need it. Like for SIM card, again, if you're not like needing it, you don't have to run it. But hey, if you ever do want to use it, it's best to have it in the glove box. GPS, fairly straightforward. Got a stick pad here. You just want a clear view of the sky with no like metal above it. So normally we find a good spot underneath the dash here. So I'm just trying to find a nice flat spot. It's all pretty bumpy there. So your best bet actually might be on top of this aircon vent, or even actually on top of our head unit, so it has a clear view of the sky up here. Like it doesn't actually matter how you like mount this, just as long as it is mounted and it has a clear view of the sky throughout the windshield with no like metal above it. Again, the 4G antenna is exactly the same. On this model I would just leave it dangling in the back here. You can like stick it down or not stick it down, it's up to you. It's going to get a fine reception in there anyway. Radio adapter, just double check, but I believe this is the only one we have like left over that it can be. So I put it into here and see what your like AM FM radio is like. I think this might actually be a coaxial cable for like all the antennas. So that obviously goes into here, and the other end plugs into our unit. So that's basically all the cables like covered. And then in like the back of the unit, when you go to put them in, obviously like the FM AM goes into here, the 4G antenna goes onto here, so GPS onto here. This one I just put in so then you don't forget it. Then you got our dual USBs coming in. Our reverse camera needs to go in there, don't forget. The SIM card, the third USB. These can only fit so where they can fit into, so they can sort of match up pretty easy. And a 20 pin plug goes into here. And then off the factory fascia here, we just need to pop a couple clips off. So you can just put your trim tool under here and like pop them off. These ones come off very easily, and they'll just clip onto the top of our fascia just like that. All fairly straightforward. Now we will probably be using our slim model on here. So this is like a longer deck. Our slim model, the deck's like shorter and like fatter, just because that's going to make the install easier for you guys. So we'll change this. It doesn't matter, everything else is the same, just like physically it's going to look a bit different. Just line the unit like back up, line up the two top clips and like push it in. And you got your two screws on the bottom here, and then obviously you've got this whole bit like come in, and that's going to hold the whole unit in place. You don't have to worry about those extra clips or anything. Just sort of what you put on is going to be fine. There you have it all put back in, all looking pretty good. Overall it's a pretty simple upgrade. Now you got a full size screen, like wireless CarPlay, you've got an Android-based system, you can install whatever apps you want, you can add extra cameras and whatnot, so it all looks pretty like factory in there. All your factory options are like your reverse camera, this USB will still be working, and your like steering wheel controls. And if you did have a factory amplifier like sound system, that'd still be working too. So there you can see we have like wireless CarPlay working. The only issue is if you do have this model here and you've got some like buttons on here that control this. Currently we don't have this working, so just ask us about it and we'll see if we can get it working. So this volume and this tune and browse is not going to work. Your like steering wheel controls will still be working, just like those aren't like working, and we also don't have the AC coming in through here. Now we'll see if we can work those options out, but for now they don't work. So if you want the AC controls on there still and these two knobs to work, just check with us first. So obviously you still have your steering wheel controls, etc. So the OBD2 tool hooked up, so obviously you got live data coming in from your diagnostic port, which just lives down here. This is included in the kit, so you can see that's just plugged in under there, and that will just connect over Bluetooth and bring in data, and you can check and clear engine codes and whatnot.